Hey guys, Tom itself here, and in this video I want to talk about live streaming and where that leads to in general. But I think first I need to talk about just watching video games in general, watching other people play, kind of talk about some of the history of what we've had in terms of options up to this point, and what live streaming offers differently that makes it differ from those other things. So let's start off with, hey, if you can point a video camera at your screen, you can record the game, right? VHS tapes on TVs, or they actually had some technical ways to things like the theater mode in Halo or Call of Duty. Some of them called demos in the old FPS, or maybe replays in old RTS games, which is my background. And all those do is they record the player inputs into the game, and then they play them back with the game engine. So there are obviously some disadvantages there, like you actually have to have a working copy of the right game in order to watch it, but at the same time you can see everything that's going on the map. You're not limited to exactly what the person who was playing was seeing. Now there's some really powerful stuff you can do that, and we've seen theater mode, which you can fly around and get some really cool cinematics. But if you just want to look at the game and see what was going on and understand everything that was happening in that one game very specifically, something like a theater mode, a replay, or a demo system, there is no substitute. Now these ways of watching games kind of come with their own downsides. As I already mentioned, you have to have a copy of the game and the right game. You run the game engine with all the graphics and all that stuff. It's kind of complicated, kind of impressive that you can do it, but there are some requirements to actually watching something. The other issues is that because you can see so much, you don't always know who to follow, where to look. Like in an RTS game, if you don't know where the player's attention is focused, you may be missing the action at that moment. And so, if you don't know what you're looking at, it's really hard to contextualize and pay attention and actually appreciate what's going on. So, they're great, really powerful, but just as a casual thing, it's not so great. And when you go looking around for replays or demos, you normally get a nice lengthy text description about what was going on, why you should be interested in this, and what's going on. Because you got to download those kinds of things normally, and you got to take a little time and fire up the game, load it up, and everything. So there's a little bit of commitment to going ahead and taking the initiative to start watching something. Now, someone got the bright idea to say, hey, I'm going to record my own audio and then have someone sync it back into the replay, and they can get commentary while they're watching the game. And behold, some kind of weird version of gameplay commentary. It's actually kind of interesting because you don't need to have quite as much understanding what's going on. Someone's telling you what's going on as it's happening. Real downside with this kind of short-lived method of doing gameplay was that you had to spend a lot of time telling people, okay, now you got to sync to this moment, fast forward here, pause here, move the screen over to this part, follow someone else's view, and whatnot. And you spend a lot of time just making sure they have the camera in the right place and not actually talking about what's going on. At the same time, when you get both the benefit of a commentary and a demo or replay file, that's pretty generous, and what you can do with that is fairly nice. And if you really want to dig into the game, tactics and strategy, it can be really, really useful to do that. Now, obviously, the trouble with the synced audio with a demo or replay file is that you need someone who's competent talking about things and who can keep the viewers, following the right place on the screen at the right time. And normally you'd want to, it feels like it's something you really want to do in one take, at least to me. So it's kind of a challenge, but still powerful and useful. Then we started to see computers, you get enough power that you can do full screen capture while running a game. Yes, I'm somewhat dating myself here, but for a while I thought, why would anybody want that over a replay or a demo? Because it's so much less powerful, and the graphics aren't looking as good. You got the low resolution video codec, and you're watching in much lower resolution than you would if you replayed the game back yourself, and you can only see what they're doing. Yes, you can see their mouse like that, but at the same time it just does not have the same kind of offering that a full replay or demo system does. The other issue here is that at the time, video on a slow connection, you got to download the entire thing because you didn't have streaming, and so it was a fairly significant commitment to go ahead and download a video of desktop, I think that was the general name at the time, and then watch it. And if it wasn't good, you're kind of like, I just wasted my time. That was really annoying. And so it seemed a little bit, how to put it, gimmicky, shall we say, to me at that point. But nonetheless, when you pair a replay with an audio commentary, now you can do some interesting things, especially when you start doing some real editing. But here we run into that real limitation that, again, all you can see is that one player, and maybe that's not the view you want. It's the right game. Like if you had the replay file, you could just switch over to someone else's view. But if you've got a video of just of the desktop, well, congratulations. I hope you like watching that person, because that's all you're going to get. And so it makes it much more about what that one person did rather than about just the game in general. That sounds really odd to say, but again, yes, you're interested in who was playing and how they did, but if you want to go and see what the other person was doing, why things unfolded the way they did, well, again, just the straight up video isn't going to give you that same kind of option to watch other players' views who were in the same game. But one of the big advantages that perhaps I really don't appreciate enough is that you don't need the game in the right version in order to watch the video. As long as you have a video player, you can see what's going on in that game. So it's much more appealing to the less hardcore audience, shall we say. And then once we've got streaming sites like YouTube, where the barrier is even lower, you don't have to download the entire video. You can just hop on YouTube, search for what you want, and start watching immediately. It gets a whole lot easier to just casually watch some gameplay. You don't have to dedicate a whole bunch of time to figuring out what you want to watch. YouTube is very happy to just keep serving you up new videos and letting you start watching them immediately. It's a kind of an instant gratification kind of thing. Well, at this point we've got both demo and replay systems and the ability to record live, and you can do some really, really amazing, powerful stuff when you've got both of this, both in terms of just sheer entertainment value to tactical breakdown and strategy analysis. Doing something really complicated like that makes it much, much easier to royally screw it up and leave people just completely confused about what's going on in the game in your head, and you will convince everyone that you're absolutely crazy just because doing a really good job editing a whole bunch of different stuff together, both live and from theater mode in Call of Duty's case, gets really, really tricky very quickly. As a result, because those kinds of things, you can put a whole lot of effort into something and not come out with anything worth watching, a lot of people choose to stick with the safe route and just show the video of what they were watching at the time. And it's understandable to a point, because it's very easy to empathize with the player who's playing, because that's the view you're used to having, and you are watching through their eyes, and you can just think of yourself, if I was him, what would I do? How would I play? It's not the third-person view where you have to think, what's he looking at? What information is getting? You're watching exactly what that player was when they were playing the game, and so it makes it very easy to connect with them and think, oh, if my aim was just a little better, or, hey, he noticed something that I didn't when I was watching the game. You gotta go back and watch it over again. So having the first-person view always is a fairly safe bet. People enjoy watching it. And stepping out of that is kind of risky, even though it offers some more tools, some very powerful options. You've got to be very careful when you decide not to do that, because people like watching first person. I mean, that's why so many people play first person shooter games. It's enjoyable to see from this perspective, and so when you take that away, you really have to weigh the consequences fairly carefully. And I guess this is coming across a bit as someone who spends a whole lot of time editing videos and whatnot. And yet, while first person is great for showing a very visceral view of what the player was doing, it doesn't always explain everything, especially when you want to talk about more than what just that player is doing. And so you oftentimes lose a lot of context, especially in team-based games, about why things were happening and why they worked the way they did. So again, that's kind of a thing you need commentary for, but it's also a thing that more than just the first-person view of one player would really help convey. My fear, as someone who enjoys playing team games and enjoys the team strategy element, is that people will watch just one person's point of view and will completely miss out on the team nature of the game. Now, as making and watching videos has gotten easier, there's been an increase in both supply and demand. It's kind of had a weird impact on quality in some interesting ways. The standard is definitely higher for most videos, But at the same time, video makers feel compelled to absolutely churn out content to meet that demand, and so the highest standard that most of them meet isn't quite as high as a lot of their potential really is. In some ways, you could think of it as milking a franchise for all it's worth. Because once people find someone they like to watch, and they like their strategy, tactics, or just their personality, well, then they're kind of interested in watching more from them, and so the content creators are kind of obligated to try and provide more, at least, to satisfy their viewers, and there's a monetary incentive in there now, too. Well, for some people, and who knows how it affects everyone, but not myself, not yet. But in the end, what that means is that people are more and more interested or focused, and the reason they watch videos is more and more for that personality behind the mic, behind the controller, and rather than so much the analysis in general, just because it's so much easier to pump out videos from first person recorded live than it is to go back and do detailed analysis. And yes, that might be higher quality, but at the same time, it takes a ton of work to do stuff like that. I mean, the demand is really incredible. You've got people doing Road to Commander every game from level 1 or level 0. I even forget where you start, all the way to maximum level in Call of Duty. I mean, how many games is that? It's dozens, and they'll post every single one. And that people will watch that, that's amazing. There is so much demand for this stuff that it absolutely blows my mind. But at the same time, the supply is absolutely amazing. Just search YouTube for whatever your generic form of video game commentary that you like is, and limit it just to today, and see how many results you get. It's absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, I'm sure you'll easily get hundreds and hundreds of results, no problem, for any popular game, Call of Duty, Battlefield, whatever. There are so many people doing this, and so branding in some way, differentiating themselves so that there's something unique that keeps people coming back is incredibly important. And what they do, it varies. What I do, well, I tend to do the incredibly geeky kind of commentary. That's my thing. That's what I do. That's why you're here. I'm not trying to be negative here at all. Again, there's so much supply. The people who are doing well because they're doing things right. And in the end, people are going to watch, search for, share, comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff on the videos they enjoy. And yeah, so the people who are doing well, they're doing well because they're doing a good job with those things. At the same time, streaming video from YouTube is very easy. Just sit down, search, watch, find what you want, and enjoy it. And you're not tied to a schedule like TV shows or what else have you. You can sit down, watch it whenever. It's always there. You can always go back and watch it. And so that there has been this trend to focusing more and more on what's been released in the last couple days, from video game stuff especially, is kind of interesting. But I understand it from a balance, from a metagame standpoint. You want to know what the new popular stuff is, what the current best is, and the YouTubers trying to top each other in terms of high scores and whatnot. So I understand, where that, you want to search for stuff that's new. I understand the appeal of that. At the same time, the fact that so much of the back catalog gets ignored when YouTube itself isn't geared towards the, hey, what's happening right now? It's, come to watch our library of videos that's been around for years and years now. So that's kind of a weird quasi area, and I guess that's where streaming comes in, because streaming, live streaming, at least not videos, live streaming, it's always new. You're watching it live. This is as it's happening. And not only that, it gives the people who are making the videos, it gives them new content. Fairly easy to create. If you screw it up, you don't have to go back and do it again. Like this commentary, how many times have I done this now? Instead, it's over, you get done with, and you keep going. And not only that, what you've made, it doesn't so much dilute what you're going to make. If you just keep adding videos to the pile, well, people can choose from all of that. But if you've got one live stream, well, at the most, at any given point in time, you can only be broadcasting one live stream from your computer. So it also limits the supply. It's kind of an impressive little trick there. You always want more. They don't have to put in a gigantic amount of work for what you're watching. If you want to leave, great, but you can always come back. And they're always making more, and the old stuff is always getting retired. It's actually a pretty smart way of doing things. Now here I am, an old fuddy-duddy, get off my lawn. I'm thinking the same thing about live streaming as I did with a lot of video desktop stuff, which is, you know, it's more limited, it's not as high quality, at least in terms of what you can get out of it in a lot of ways. And so why would anybody really care? Well, again, it's more easy to connect with the player who's playing. At the same time, it may be partly that I lack the technical resources to do that. And the current case of streaming, it's bandwidth. I can't play and stream at any reasonable quality. It's really not an option for me. And again, I know a lot of other people, probably the majority of people, can't really live stream as they're playing. It just does not work very well. And so it still feels, I don't know, again, a little bit gimmicky maybe? When in reality, it's a very serious form of entertainment. Now, unlike the original video desktop stuff, where you had to download it, you couldn't stream it from a site like YouTube, it's very easy just to hop on, see what's going on, check it out, and see if you like it. And if you don't, you know, nothing really ventured, you just waste a couple seconds, go off and do something else. Not a big deal. And so, yeah, it's easy to get into. The barrier is much, much lower, and again, you don't need the game, you don't need it, you just hop in, check it out, see what's going on. And the whole appeal of live, well, you know, maybe if it's a small stream, you can have an impact on what's going on. Maybe the person watching is reading the comments and interacting, and hey, that's kind of cool. You know, you can interact with what's going on the screen. You can't do that with TV normally, can you? And for a large stream, maybe it's having all those people in the chat together, kind of interacting, like watching a big sporting event. You know, you're all sitting there anticipating, waiting to see what's happening, and just having fun. Now, some people say things like, oh, you don't get to cherry-pick games like you do for YouTube. Well, I would argue mostly that you cherry-pick games, not so much that you necessarily want to look really good, but as much as you want to share the good stuff, it's that you want to share the entertaining stuff and not make people sit through stuff like waiting for the forfeit counter to count down, because that's really boring. Why would anyone want to watch that? Some people take live streaming to mean open lobby, and, well, that's a topic for another commentary. But that, you know, you're watching something live and you may be even able to join in. I think that's certainly part of the appeal, and that's why you see, at least in Call of Duty, again, this is touching on stuff I'm probably going to do another commentary on. There's people like, hey, let's join in, let's play with the guy, let's see what's going on, you know, see if he's any good, even though that seems to be reported like the point of doing live streaming in the first place. You know, just check it out, see what's going on, have some fun. Now, again, the draw, like so much of these, you know, quick kind of off-the-cuff YouTube videos with their commentaries, and it's not... Now, again, people are just trying to meet the absolutely amazing demand there is for videos, which, you know, fairly simple commentary. So, a live commentary, the standards, you know, I'm going to say they're lower, at least in my opinion, but what people expect from them is different, and if you're good at it, it's probably easier to meet that. I don't know, I'm still pretty rough at this commentary thing, but I get the impression that if you slip up in a live session, it's not such a big deal as you gotta go back and re-record it if you're doing a post commentary. So in these live streaming events, much like the YouTube videos, what you get to watch is that player's view. That's how this thing normally works. You don't get someone else to jump around between different players' views and third-person shots and try to, you know, do an announcer kind of thing. You know, you just got, you know, commentary just between the team or whatever is on the player's mind. And much of the standard by what it's judged is simply KD at the end of the game. And, okay, maybe win-loss is important, but what people find entertaining is watching that screen kill people. Lots and lots of people. That's what they want to see in most cases. And maybe if you've got competitive gameplay, it's a little different, but for the most part, if you're just hopping into a live stream of a Call of Duty game, or just most any game, people just want to see some absolute destruction normally. If you've got a really good person who's good at commentary, maybe they can talk strategy. But, you know, if they're not very good, they can just spice it up with some really good off-hand humor. But normally the most reliable thing seems to be just to be pretty darn good at the game and slaughter lots and lots of enemies. And so when you say, well, the people are coming to watch this one player, watch their point of view, listen to what they have to say, and, you know, they are the draw, they're why people are there, I think you pretty much got the definition of a primadonna there. I really don't see how you can't argue any other way. And so the kinds of behavior that you see in some of the people who do a lot of live streaming, it's not entirely surprising. It's like, hey, people are here to watch me. It's about me and how I can be awesome, and if you're not helping me be awesome, you're part of the problem. I completely understand. Yes, that is completely a primadonna mentality, but in the situation, I really don't think you can say it's unjustified, or at least not expected. But on the other hand, for competitive events where, you know, maybe not everyone is supposed to do amazingly well, that's the nature of a competitive event, you've got an actual announcer who can hop around the screen, you know, spectate mode, and watch different players' points of view. And if you don't want people to act like that, I think that's the direction it has to go. Otherwise, it becomes all about that player, how they do, and, you know, what's on their screen and how many people they can kill. And it's not just that, it's because there's this impression that it applies overall skill, there's even more pressure in order to make every single game absolutely amazing, or make something just incredible happen. And so, in a lot of ways, you've raised the stakes. So, you can't just, like, a casual play session, I'm going to just be like, alright, whatever, if something great happens, it gets posted to YouTube, otherwise, I don't really care, you know, I'm just want to have some fun, play the game. But if you're live streaming at all those people watching, I don't know if that's a level of pressure I could deal with. And so that you know, people asking, hey, you know, join my team, help me out, make sure randoms don't join the other team. And, you know, we'll try and make something awesome happen for the live stream, which, you know, really means make something awesome happen for the person who's streaming, you know, who's playing and streaming. Yeah, again, that is not really too much of a surprise. So if you wanted to curtail this, what would your options be? Well, my first thought is cut back on the demand. Say, hey guys, you know, if there isn't as much demand, people will be more interested in making higher quality videos rather than just turning out more videos or live streams where there's, you know, in some ways there's always demand. It's kind of weird to think about the crossover between demand between YouTube and live, but yeah, I guess we can make something of a comparison there. But if there isn't quite the demand, people aren't, you know, thinking about making as many moderate quality videos, and they're thinking more about putting out high quality commentary, you know, maybe some theater modes, then picking out games that are going to be really entertaining. Now, at the same time, to be realistic here, and you know, if you said, hey guys, stop watching Call of Duty and go play Call of Duty instead, wow, well, that sounds really funny, doesn't it? I don't expect that would happen, honestly. And again, with relation to the competitive scene, you could get an announcer, although that would significantly increase the cost. It might make it pretty awesome. And hey, I haven't thought through all the technical details, but that might encourage people to, you know, play more as a team and less as a one person is the star of the show. Again, I'm not sure how at least Call of Duty would work, but that's one thought. If you have someone who was actually a good announcer who knew what was going on in Call of Duty games and could hop around between the different players and watch, that might be kind of fun. At the same time, it's completely different from what people have come to expect on YouTube. So I don't know how that transition would go. I imagine it would be fairly rough, to be quite honest. Yeah, I'm just going to sidestep a little bit for a minute here to say that I actually really appreciate that I'm seeing more and more team-based strategy here. It's just the strategy seems really odd to me because it's more about getting impressive gameplay than winning against another team. So, yeah, halfway there, you're playing as a team. It's just normally think of having to face kind of a challenge instead of, I don't know, I guess it really epitomizes the arcade style that Call of Duty has become known for, is trying to get the high score rather than win against another team. This is kind of a strange, I don't know how to put it. That's just what it reminds me of. Alright, this next one is going to come across as fairly crazy, but play a different game mode, or especially find one that's not quite so zero-sum, where in a lot of ways that one person is really the only person. You spawn trap, and then the one person who's streaming tries to kind of push in on the spawns, get as many kills as they can before the spawns flip. So an example might be co-op. You know, if you're playing zombies, yes, you want to see that one person kill a whole lot of zombies, but if their teammates are going down and then, you know, they're having to do all the work, things probably aren't going to go as well. So if they're less tied to how they do individually for the sake of the stream to making sure their teammates do okay and get enough points to buy stuff and whatnot, then maybe that would be a little less, I don't know, grating on the whole sensibilities of, you know, obviously this is kind of a late reaction to having people who live stream demanding that their subs join on their team and run support for them and spawn trap and let them push in, and yeah, if you hadn't figured that out yet, yeah, that was the impetus for this entire thing. But say if you're playing co-op or zombies and you want the entire team to do well, because that's how you're going to do well. And there's also this, I don't know, I get this impression that a lot of people play Call of Duty solo, even though I can't stand doing it. It drives me nuts fairly quickly. But that they expect that how they do individually is the most important thing, rather than coordinating with the team, strategy, and playing as a team. Rather, it's much more about individual performance. So find a game mode where it's more about the team play rather than the individual, and even if it's just random people joining in, you'll probably find that there's less of that whole prima donna behavior that we kind of not quite as interested in seeing so much of. At least I am. I don't want to see when people talk about it as kind of setting up a game, and or boosting in a weird kind of way where you're not, the other team is whoever you want, even though it's the most noobs you can find, and your team is absolutely stacked and playing to make that kind of crazy, absolutely what would normally be a once in a lifetime game happen, maybe once a night, is kind of odd. So the entire mentality behind that's what people want to see, that's what kind of changing that would go a long way. And I guess more simply, don't expect people to have those kinds of insane games all the time. I know, I get the impression that your average Call of Duty player is somewhat easy to impress, because your average Call of Duty player has a KD of 1, and so if you can get a KD of 2, congratulations, you're pretty darn impressive. And if you can get a ton of kills, because I'm sure the average kills in game is like 15, no, I could actually, I could come up with a better estimate than that, but that you get 100 kills in the game, people are like, how on earth do you do that? Well, if you're good and you're playing against scrubs and you have a little bit of help, it's not the most surprising thing. It does take a fair amount of skill, but it's not the most surprising thing. So you can do it regularly. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm saying that if you focus less on individual performance and rather on wins and losses as a team, especially against other teams, you're going to see a whole lot less of this whole prima donna behavior, because that's what it's all about. It's being individualistic, egotistic, selfish. That's, if that's what you want to see, great, go ahead and watch it. But if you want to see some team play, straight up good old Call of Duty, as I would like to call it, that's not what you want to encourage. Now, to be honest, my personal interest is more in YouTube rather than streaming, which honestly I've kind of convinced myself that I'm not interested in because I can't do it. So yes, that's my rationalization right now. And it's as much in that you're looking at a few people who are fairly specialized in ways to get very particular types of gameplays, and rather than interesting commentary, whatever form that may take. Yes, because when Modern Warfare 3 first came up, like, there's no way you can get a 100+ game in Modern Warfare 3. No, it just can't happen. Here we are several months down the line, and much like Black Ops, people have figured out what they need to do in order to get those super high kill, fairly high KD kinds of games. Now, I understand the audience out there is fairly interested in that, but hey, if you want other stuff, then support other stuff. That's just how it goes. And, well, supply and demand, that's how this whole thing works. Not all of us get paid, but trust me, if people get views, they will make more of the same kind of thing. Wow, and this is going to be my longest commentary yet. That's okay. To summarize, I'm not at all surprised live streaming has taken the turn that it has, because it's so easy for people to just hop on, watch some, and the kind of thing they want to watch, what they expect, and what's going to get more views, well, that's what we're hearing more about. And kind of pushback in the nature of what it is, the whole expecting people to help you get that one an amazing game, kind of prima donna behavior, I guess we could call it. It's not at all surprising given the whole medium and what people are interested in watching. Supply and demand. If you want to change it, look at altering that relationship rather than anything else. Whether it be bringing in an actual announcer, finding a different game that was more team-oriented rather than just all about individual success, which, to be honest, that's what the Call of Duty YouTube community has come to expect from most of the commentators. At least there's a wide audience for that. So, hey, supply and demand, that's what we get. If you don't like it, don't support it. Anyway, guys, this, again, my longest commentary yet. I thank you for sticking around for the entire thing, and I will see you later.